gravity pull and it keeps me away. I would rather be here, lonely in space. I've made up my mind, I just wanna be free. I live my own life in a new galaxy. I wanna be weightless in the silence of the night sky. I wanna free fall into nothing at all. I'm taking the moment, starting all over. I wanna be free and live my own life in a new galaxy. Taking the moment, starting all over. I wanna be free and live my own life in a new galaxy.
Welcome to the galaxy.
Neon lights flash, glow in the virtual battlefield. Sentinel, lead, let's go. Platinum dreams revealed. Climbing high, we'll soar on the rift of endless mind. Strategies we explore through the endless fight.
Okay, I'm on Kale.
Nice, I'm looking around.
Twitch.
You got Twitch next.
Twitch is dead.
Twitch is dead.
I'm not sleeping, by the way.
Okay, I'm out of the fight.
Tail's out of the fight, but we won.
Kill Lilia.
Where's Kale?
Tail went up. She's up here. She's probably basing. Kill this bitch, and then we just push mid down.
She's ending.
Base.
Fuck.
I slowed Kale. He's gonna one shot.
No.
Tower.
Holy cow, nice.
End?
Ornn has TP.
I'm stuck on him though.
Hit the towers.
Go Twitch.
Hit the Twitch.
Hit the Nexus.
Go Nexus.
Nexus.
Oh,
guys.
oh god.
They're gonna drop 2 ultis there. They're gonna pick it up. Browse is gonna get that one. But then we do see a Rek'Sai knockout, Flash knockup 2. Silent there, knocking out right back again. Doki there, gonna slam the axe, but won't be there. He's gonna get stunned instead. But we do see Rar pick up 3 members. It will be another one falling here if Kennen was gonna get out, but apparently it wasn't gonna happen. Big old 2v5 at the moment. Adrian cannot get in here. Feathers is trying to kill the most important targets. He is going to be the shred of the team. He's going to be able to do that. Stink Pepper going to snipe out Bros there. Didn't walk back to the fountain. That's going to be 2 kills. But Phyllis will fall. It's a B3, Swain's coming in. Ergon gonna be shooting away. Will Tyler be able to fall? Tyler will fall. Feathers is dominating. He's gonna clear this way. Baron's still up there. Google Awesome did not get a full here right now, but another TP coming in, and guess whose TP that is? It's not the mid laner. It's not the top laner. It's Doki here to finish the game to take a picture with his team.
Doki makes it in the family photo here at the...
Champions rise in the night. Power flows through neon light. Summoner's rift, we take the dive. In the LXC, we come alive. We strategize 5 on 5. Pushing lanes, we've got the drive. Nexus falls, it's all a race. In the LXC, we find our place. Feel the beat of destiny. In the LXC, we're wild and free. League of dreams, our legacy. We fight till dawn in harmony.
All right, everyone. Hello and welcome for the last week of the regular season of Sentinel. I'm Scarlett and I'm here today with Star Burrito. Hello, Star.
Hello. How are you?
And we're gonna be good. We're gonna be watching Dropping Point Hellfire versus OSG Sub-Zero, and this one's gonna be kind of fun. Now it is the last week, but both of these teams are pretty much set where they're going to be. So today is more about like trying to get experience, especially for OSG Sub-Zero, without giving people too much to watch to see what they can do. But the teams are, they had to stall a little bit because they weren't going to be available 30 minutes ago. But because of that, that means they're absolutely ready right now. So I think we're going to get a draft basically immediately.
Yeah, it should be a pretty fun series to watch, I'm hoping they won't go like, too easy because like I think sometimes like when it gets to the end of the season and people are like, "Oh, the seed's already locked," like we can do a little bit of inting, but I think like people should still take this seriously as it is like it's still like good practice like for the future, even if you're making playoffs or not. Like, it's they're just pretty good scrims. So really excited to see that both these teams battle it out today.
Well, I was hearing that OSG actually hasn't been on stream yet, so technically they could use this as practice as like what it's going to be like in playoffs, because I'm assuming there's not as many teams in playoffs. They'll be on stream at some point, and that can be a different experience. So even if you're not trying to give your draft away, you can still take it seriously and try to practice like what the nerves are like, knowing that some people are going to be watching what you do.
Oh yeah, definitely. So basically, both these teams, I think they're both pretty solid rosters. They're also, draft is actually live right now, but before I talk quickly about that, I just want to say like because I played it a little bit in Sentinel. This is from the other sector, so I've never really interacted. They're two pretty quiet teams in terms of chatting, but from the interactions I've had with both of these teams, they've been very nice people. So I'm really excited to have these people to invite.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested in how that translates to the Rift, though. As we see the Amumu ban and Lulu. Now, again, I believe a patch was very recently added, so teams are still kind of figuring out the meta. And obviously, whenever it's your last week, it's kind of hard to be like, well, let's update for the new patch. You're kind of locked into what you want to do, but plans are going to start soon. You want to know how it feels to play for sure.
I think Amumu and Lulu though are pretty standard bans. Like they're probably really, really popular, including in Sentinel. And Bessa ban, because that's targeted towards Hunter. And then a Veigar ban. Those are I guess two bans that I typically don't see early, I guess, unless if like you're a Veigar merchant.
I have been seeing Bessa more often. I think people are starting to pick her up, new champions sometimes go on a curve where it's like released and everyone's like, oh, I really want to play this champion, they learn it. And then Riot nerfs them or something, or people learn how to play against it, it goes down, and then eventually someone kind of figures out how to play it, and it spreads, and then it goes up again, and here we are. So I feel
Nivea, that's definitely a ban that you don't see.
Yeah, okay, I'm not gonna say Nivea is strong on the patch. That's definitely targeted. I mean, maybe there's something the teams know that I don't, but I think it is targeted for sure. But what are we
Yeah.
gonna see blind pick? There's so many different bans. Some of them mages, you know, the Anivia and the Veigar are taken out. But also
Oh,
2 AP junglers.
I'm
What
guessing
do you
it's
even
gonna be
blind pick here?
jungle. Either jungle or ADC. I think those are probably like the safest blind picks here, including if there's like a priority pick. Yep, Jinx. Pretty standard ADC, good blind. I think just really well rounded as an ADC.
I do feel like Jinx B1 is so powerful whenever she's good. Like,
Yeah.
yes, she has counters, but she still definitely sets up an expectation for the bot lane that is very consistent. And then also you can do multiple different kinds of supports with it, whether it be that Lulu that's banned now, but also something like Braum or even Hard Engage. She just kind of goes with so many supports and can play a lot of different lanes, even if her identity stays the same with that scaling 80 carry. But it
Yeah.
is a different kind of scaling 80
Speaking
carry
of
in
scaling,
Kai'Sa.
yeah. Speaking of Kai'Sa, we see a Maokai. This could very much be a flex between the jungle and support, maybe even top. I've seen Maokai go top a few times actually more recently. But I think Maokai's a really solid champ. Very good tank, very sustainable, and yeah, just a really good flex as well.
Well, Jinx didn't define the bot lane, but Kai'Sa kind of did, for sure. Kai'Sa only has really one identity. I mean, yeah, later in the game she could either be poke or all in, but in the early game she really does want to go for that kind of early engage. But taking a well for dropping point means that they are not backing off, you know? They
Yeah, that's a
want
very
these fights
engaged,
to be
yeah.
happening early.
Just quickly looking at the OPs, it looks like Dorsky, so OSG support plays Maokai. I don't really see the jungler questioning ever playing it, so this most likely is going to be a Maokai support here.
And I think that makes a lot of sense. Maokai is one of those all-in supports that works really well with Kai'Sa. Orianna is a really nice blind pick, both in that if you're gonna have to blind pick your mid anyways, which is up to OSG since they have red side, getting that in before bans is nice and it's pretty safe. But a nice counter is the Syndra. I feel like Syndra has been rising in popularity in specific response to Orianna.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's a really good matchup, because Syndra just outranges Ori by a lot. But I do like the Ori pairing with the Rel. I think it's a very strong pairing. That they'll have like a lot of CC, and I think it'll be really easy for Jinx to get these resets coming in these team fights.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I feel like Syndra's had like an identity swap. Before she was a really good early game lane bully, and now she's like more of a scaler, and
Yeah,
that works better in Orianna.
Mm-hmm.
But we see 2 jungle bans for OSG, which means I'm sure they're saving their top lane for counter pick. And I think DP are going to be taking out some top laners that counter their likely blind pick.
Also, just stuff that they need. I think right now they need like a tank right now, or some aid, like more, a little bit more damage. The more damage, I guess they have Syndra Kai'Sa.
Right, but Syndra Kai'Sa does kind of put them in a lot of magic damage. Kai'Sa can
Yeah.
definitely do physical damage, but you're still a little
Not
worried,
really.
especially with
Not
Maokai.
really, no.
You get Merc Treads already because you've got so much CC right there. You already get magic resist on basically every champion that's not building Slurks, so you do want some physical damage. Even if Kai'Sa does some of that already, it wouldn't hurt to add some more. Although then again, Maokai's probably support, as you said. Oh, okay, well, they're going to go the opposite direction and take up the Mordekaiser. I wonder what they're going to take jungle then, though.
Maybe it is a flex. Maybe it's just not showing up on their ranked history. Maybe they've played it in comp more recently, but they could just be saving the flex Maokai for last pick, which I still think that's odd. And considering like your red side, I think you just want to give your top laner the blind pick. I don't think it really matters too much for jungle, but yeah.
I think they could be going for a really spicy jungle here because they need maybe a little bit more physical damage, or could do. I mean, they don't have to, I guess. Kai'Sa, again, she does okay on physical damage, but it looks like the spicy pick is actually the Mordekaiser, so it works so well it tricked us.
Oh yeah, it tricked us.
And I do like it. I have seen Mordekaiser jungle a little bit. I'm assuming that's what this is. I don't see any of these other champions going support on the Maokai.
Yeah, neither do I.
So I think the Mordekaiser pick kind of works. Now, the only issue with it is that for the bot side of the map, they've only got to deal with magic damage, basically, and then Kai'Sa's early physical damage. I mean, you know, you definitely can go with more physical damage-oriented Kai'Sa build, and also, it's not like you're going to have to worry about killing Renekton that quickly with Kai'Sa, technically. You could just go in for the all-in Mordekaiser ult a tank, and then you just use Kaisa to burst on someone who doesn't get to build DMR, so maybe it doesn't even matter. But it is a lot of magic damage over there, is all I'll say for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think Maokai is building Leandries, although it is Maokai support, so I guess he wouldn't anyways.
I've seen Cheese play in the past, which is the ADC for OSG. Last week he actually got a pentakill on Jinx. And based on how his playstyle has been, I haven't seen him play Kaisa, but based on how their team is with the amount of magic damage, I'm assuming he's just gonna go a full on-hit build, go that 80 damage, and based on how I've seen him play in the past, he likes to fight, he likes to go in, so I see him more going for the on-hit build compared to like the bursting damage.
Yeah, and again, like Jinx isn't building Merc Treads. I don't think she's building a Hex Drinker.
No.
The idea that like your team is all magic damage, so you're completely screwed, only bears fruit if you've got to deal with an Orin or a Mundo or someone that really stacks MR. I'm not even sure if Orianna's going Merc Treads. She's not going Banshee's Veil. It might just not matter.
I mean, you're just gonna have really 3 big beef frontliners. You're gonna have Rel, you're gonna have Renekton, you're gonna have G4. Although Mord should be ulting probably Renekton out of these fights. I think that's probably one of the better people to ult out because he's gonna do a lot of damage. He's gonna want to go in on your backline. So I guess it really depends who Mordekaiser ults on these fights. But I think both teams are looking really solid.
Yeah, I think this bot lane is really gonna dictate a lot. But the other lanes also could be quite explosive as well. Renekton Gnar is a very famous matchup. It could dictate the game as well. And then Orianna Syndra, kind of a new one popping up more and more, but has been more explosive than it used to be. You used to see Orianna Syndra and you knew what was happening. Orianna was just going to play safe, take shield levels, and just sit there. But now I feel like it's a little bit different. That matchup could definitely turn a bit more explosive.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I guess based we're just in champ select now, so the Mordekaiser is confirmed going jungle. We're not gonna see Mordekaiser support. Not today, at least, not this game.
Maybe next game
yeah.
they'll pick it again, it'll be a new flex and they'll never call it.
Who do you think's gonna take game 1 based on these team comps?
If I was just looking at the draft alone and didn't look at team scores, I really like Jinx in coordinated play.
Yeah,
and I
I
also
agree.
think that teams with like Mordekaiser, Kaisa, Gnar, like it's really hard to play. So I think I would give it a dropping point. Now, that being said, it's close, and then you've always got to come in with the fact that like, yeah, OSG are locked in for second place and dropping point are out right now.
Yeah.
So will that actually happen? I don't know, but dropping point have put themselves in the best position to be able to make that upset happen for sure.
Yeah, I definitely do like overall dropping points team more, but you also got to keep in mind, I think OSG's team scales a lot more considering with the Syndra and the Kaisa, even Mord, I think just becomes like a menace in the late game, and including with those ults, I think if this game goes long enough, I think OSG can easily like wipe out this team.
Right, but that's sometimes where upsets happen, where like you like, oh, we're better, we'll just take late game champions and snooze through lane. We're not gonna risk it on all ins that could go bad. And then suddenly they just kind of surprise you and right click your towers faster than you can deal with it. So we will have to see after a break what happens on the Rift. All right, welcome back to game 1 of Dropping Point versus Other Side Gaming, and Other Side Gaming are on the other side of the rift. But there's a ball. This is the thing with Orianna. You can't be lazy. A lot of champions are supposed to hold your level 1. Like, what am I gonna level? It could matter. Orianna is just Q, put it in a bush somewhere, and this time it pays off. But Other Side Gaming are kind of doubling down. Like, oh, you spotted us. We're definitely gonna all scatter, and they just didn't. Now. Dropping Point, don't fall for it.
I think if they waited just 3 more seconds, they would have found Fifi there.
That's funny. They were right to double down. They just should have triple downed, I guess. But oh well, they still have the deep ward. So, and the deep ward on the other side is also matched. So both teams should know where junglers start, essentially.
Yeah. Basically loading into this game. Do you notice any weird summoners, runes, anything like that? That's normally you wouldn't see.
Well, not really. It's all pretty standard, but you kind of expect. I guess lethal tempo for Kai'Sa. I haven't been keeping up with Kai'Sa because I still just go the AP Kai'Sa build, and that's my confession. And it's not good, but it definitely doesn't go lethal tempo, and it's way more fun. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm like lethal tempo. That doesn't help AP Kai'Sa. What's that? But no, everything seems about right. Press the attack Renekton is an aggressive choice, but probably the correct one. And yeah, first strike Syndra, Meteor, Orianna. I think Meteor's getting, or Comet. I don't know why I called it Meteor. That one's getting a little bit more common for Orianna. I like it a lot, but you know, people are used to going airy.
Yeah. I've definitely done
Jinx
both
is
before.
gonna get level 2 pretty quickly here, and I'm not sure they're respecting it.
The dive, then.
Okay, they did respect it eventually.
But
yeah, Meteor damage is really nice, especially someone like Syndra, who you're trying to poke with as much as possible.
But yeah, no, I definitely agree. Syndra definitely has, I think, a lot more poke compared to the Orianna, so I think that's definitely a good idea to go. I do see questioning area on more does have the ghost. I guess it makes sense for it to go. I just never really thought about it. Haven't seen a Mordekaiser like jungle in months. So I haven't really thought about it, but we see both sides of the junglers pathing down for bot lane. That's both like their carries and scalers, in my opinion.
It's definitely a trade-off. Yeah. I like it because you're going to be ganking a lot, and that means Ghost is a lot more powerful. As Renekton is in the middle of 5 minions, but gets to do that because he's Renekton. At the same time, though, it does take away your flash ult capability, which is really important.
Yeah, I mean, also at the same time, who's really gonna heal you off of like the person that you want to ult? Like their whole team wants to go in. You have Rel, you have J4, you have Renekton. Ori's pretty short range, Jinx pretty short range, but in these fights, I don't think you're gonna be wanting to ult Jinx or Ori. I think you just take out one of the front lines, so your team has an easier time, like playing front to back here.
So junglers have pretty much perfect information. J4 walked over a ward and said, "This is my crab." And Questionnaire is accepting it and going to the other side. But Syndra is going for a nice trade here whenever Mordekaiser could technically come driving as well. It looks like they're respecting it though. They say, "I want my crabs mid laners. Do your trading at your own time. Like, you're not getting a 2v2 right now."
Yeah.
But so jungler's just gonna recall probably. I don't think Mordekaiser is going anywhere else. Like I mean this Renekton has been really greedy, or not greedy, aggressive, but actually, I guess Questionnaire has time so he can go back to his Raptors because he started Raptor Camp. And I think Mordekaiser clear is fine for that, so it kind of works out for him.
Yeah, it depends what objectives they want to go for. If they want Grubs or Drake. I think if they were going for Drake, if I were them, I would have backed by now, because like now your timer's going to be a little slow compared to like Jarvan already backed and has like an item on you. So it looks like he might just be clearing his top side backing, either going to Grubs or doing a really late Drake call, is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, it makes sense. You're against a bot lane that's already pretty aggressively ahead. You probably knew that going in. Again, Syndra is a little bit less aggressive early game. You don't have to go for the early dragon. You're against G4. Start your Raptors and know your pathing from the beginning. I mean, I guess he almost planned to go for that top crab as well from the beginning.
Yeah.
And then Mordekaiser's clear is good enough. He doesn't need items to get these extra camps. And he just gets a 6 camp clear, and then his recall is canceled now because he might be going for a gank, but this is a 0 item Mordekaiser gank though. So I'm not sure. This is where I get to calling it to bad tempo.
I feel like this is a little late, yeah.
But it is Ghost, and it might work. Because Nast Ghost doesn't, I mean, he has to flash, right? And he's kind of still caught. Hunter's also almost Mega, not level 6 though. It doesn't really matter. He's not Mega though yet! So he has to flash away, and he doesn't get health, and he just gives over first blood. This is a 0-item Mordecai, and Renekton now has ultimate. So Renekton gets to walk away, and this is the problem with 6-camping and then saying, you know what, I 6-camped, I'm also gonna gank. You just don't bring enough tools without the items, and your laner is also itemless, so sometimes you just get jumped on like that.
Yeah, I definitely do think that's where the tempo definitely went bad, is you're pre-level 6 Mord, you're already fairly weak, and you still went back and you're starting grubs, which isn't necessarily bad. You have like the kind of like the prio and mid. Syndra has the back off, Ori still has yet to back, and now that Hunter is back in lane with TP, you have the pressure top. So, like, at least he's getting the grubs.
I do love this from Fifi. He knows that Mordekaiser feels like in an awkward spot. Like, it is so hard to do these grubs with no items. And he's like, wait a second, you didn't even recall. I can take all of your camps down here, maybe even get a dive if I feel so lucky. Probably not, because Jinx only has Torrent's Blade. But still, like, you can watch me take the camps. I don't care. I know exactly where your Mordekaiser is. He's sitting there killing grubs for 30 minutes.
Yeah, we're currently 7 minutes in the game. He's currently sitting on... I mean, he's gonna have a beefy bag, I will give him that. He's almost at 1,700 gold.
But he can't invade here. This is usually
no
where you invade after the trade.
No way he's kicking again.
No, he just got the crowd. He's getting the ward, and then he's recalling. The B button is being pressed right now. Okay, in 2 seconds. Nasca's baiting this out. He's like, there's no... He also disbelieves that this will happen, but there are ultimates available now. Mordekaiser ult is used, and this 1v1's kind of hard. He does have the Q empowered for the heal. Once he gets out, though, he has the ability to E over the wall. He did save it. Nar Meganar's almost over. Syndra is coming, though, and then Mordekaiser just has items. Ness also still can E over the wall soon, I'm pretty sure. Syndra will get it instead. But he didn't even recall. He got brought back by death.
I will say, I think that is a major misplay for questioning area. If, like, I'm not gonna lie, if this was my solo Q King, I think I would give him a question mark. But I do like the ambition that he was trying to do, like, just trying to, like, get his top laner ahead. But, like, you gotta know, like, you are so behind. That Renekton has, like, you gave him a kill, he's already up gold and a kill, and you have yet to back. You gotta
and he gets a freeze here too.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he gets a freeze here
They also
too.
wasted 3 ults to kill Renekton there.
I understand that it wasn't where it started. It started with all 6 camp. Then it was like, oh, this gank seems free. Then it was, well, they're taking dragon, I should grubs. And then it was, oh, this gank seems free. You know, it didn't start with all 6 camp into grubs, or into gank, into grubs, into gank. But that's where it ended up. And sometimes you have to do a sanity check, like, does this make sense?
Yeah, like, this makes me want to think that, like, he's also currently sitting in bot lane bush. I mean, this could be
This one probably works, though, because Maokai from Forest right here flashes in, gets the ultimate, flash out of Heartstuck, still exhausted, though. Now, there isn't any follow-up CC, but that is still 2 flashes and a barrier down for the bot lane. But this does mean Orianna does get to mid lane.
Yeah, it looks like Mundo Man will, looks like he'll get a few plates away. And the question I have now is, like, do they normally do this in matches, or are they just doing this because, like, to say, like, oh, this team is not making playoffs, and they're,
But, I don't know. Oh!
Sorry.
This is a 2-1 Renekton, and we just missed everything, so I think Hunter's in a lot of trouble here. Luckily, Nar gets a lot of tools to get out, so I think it'll be okay. Well, I mean, it's kind of going back in, but Renekton has more tools to get back in if you get a little too cheeky. That's a full rage Renekton as well. I believe that's a dead Nar. And the last auto attack is coming, potentially, but the jump aways here! There's still no flash, and it's actually Nascos who goes too far! Meanwhile, bot lane, Fifi gets a really nice gank. That should be a dead Maokai. He has no flash right now. So Dorsky does go down to the Jinx ult. And that is
if I was dropping play, I'd be ecstatic right now. You got feats, you got 2 kills on Nascos.
I think this is a dead Syndra as well, by the way. Still has flash, but I don't think it matters. She shouldn't use it here, because she is dead. Because that auto, wait, the stun! Wait, it's Crayson that has to flash away. How did Mundo-Man save his flash? And almost get the kill.
Yeah, that is crazy. You know, I respect it. the just shy damage. Cheese really trying to cheese Grayson there in the mid lane, but just shyly gets away.
Yeah, some interesting plays the players are going for. You know, this is maybe a little bit of limit testing. I feel like we're kind of watching a scrim almost. Like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, let's just put on a show and we're here for it. You know, I'll shoutcast the nonsense that we're seeing right now.
Yeah,
But
you know,
the
it might be
junglers find each other in mid lane. They're looking for grubs. Top laners are a little staggered, but it doesn't matter because Mordekaiser's ulted you, and Jarvan doesn't have the tools to get out of the Death Realm, so he will die. Grayson also doesn't have ultimate, used it on Syndra before, so Question Air will be able to walk away, and I think that means that they're going to get 6 grubs.
I do believe that they should start it here. Hunter does have the push on the mid lane. Mundo Man, Grayson, kind of just like, it's kind of even in the mid lane, but Grayson definitely does have to be careful considering your jungler is dead. But Mundo Man's also got to be careful, because I don't think that ward is worth it.
Right, Orianna also has ultimate very soon. You can see it take over just now, but I don't think she wants to contest with Mordekaiser there. I mean, sure, Mordekaiser doesn't have ult, you have some ability to get away. Nar's walking down, though. Meanwhile, bot lane, we're all trying to get out of an engage, but again, yeah, Grayson cannot fight this just because he has ultimate whenever there are 3 people in his face. Ultimate's just gonna bother Hunter for a little bit as he kills you.
Yeah, definitely not the place where you want to be. You know, like, they're taking grubs, and I know it sucks that, like, you're giving up, like, 6 grubs, but you gotta look at the other map. Hey, we got Chemtech Dragon, sorry, and now you see my team is currently on Mountain Drake. You don't gotta be up there. I would just rotate down, maybe even just push out mid, make Mundo Man come back to the mid lane to catch the wave. Like, I know you're maybe, he was looking for the steal, but, you know, you just don't gotta be there.
I think it was just like, I have ultimate, I want to use ultimate. And Orianna does have the tools to get away sometimes. But against something like... Oh, actually, this fight is a bit more important. Dorsky, again, still doesn't have flash available and will get caught. Rocket, once again, picking that up. Hardstuck Brother has picked up 2 kills now and is going to finish Yuntal very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that's, I mean, if I was, Hardstuck Brother right now in Sapphire Gem, I'd be like, yeah, you know, I'm 2 happy campers, I'm a scaling Jinx, and I'm up 2 kills on the other scaling ADC, so even, like, the 2 kills that they got in the bot lane, they didn't have flash, and they didn't have barrier up until recently, so, like, even without sums, they're still winning these fights in the bot lane, which I think is really cool of them.
Right, and it's really important to make sure this Jinx is ahead, because it is absolutely your pressure gauge to make sure that Kai'Sa, Syndra, and Syndra don't get online. So the more that Heartstruck Brother can accelerate these items, the more you can make sure Syndra doesn't get her stacks. And with top lane being the way it is, yes, Renekton's down a level, because I think Jarvan had to catch a wave or 2, plus the kills that went over. I mean, I'm not sure that Gnar is going to be as big a deal as he could have been. Had the ganks gone differently. As I think there's going to be another one. Bot lane, Sapphire face checks into Questioning Error. The Questioning Error doesn't ult right away, now does so. But I don't think it matters, right? Like, Sapphire can just sit here under tower, ults Questioning Error in. She's got him where she wants him. And now they can just collect the wave with no dive pressure available.
You know, that was a good effort from, I think, both sides of the team. Questioning Error trying to get that pick on Sapphire Gem. Sapphire Gem immediately responding back with an ult under tower. Though top lane, Hunter is just getting chunked out by Renekton. It looks like he's just gonna fire back some shots, maybe make the trade a little bit more even, but it's just not gonna be enough right now.
Right, and you can also see that Mundo Man has moved down bot lane a few times, and yes, he has a kill for it. I guess that was the topside fight, actually. But his tower's kind of low. And now Fifi's here for the gank. Mundo has to not flash here because of very nice QE. But I'm not sure that he can protect this tower.
I think he's fine. I don't think that they can dive the Syndra, including with flash up. I think the tower's safe for another day. I will mention though, yeah, OSG's towers are getting very low with Ghost has demolished, so that's like just under half HP from top's tower, just above half HP from mid, and looking at dropping points tower, they're pretty healthy. I mean, top lane's just like shyly above half HP, but if you're looking for feats, OSG needs this tower.
I just don't see it happening. I mean, you've also got to contend that they've got to get the next objective as well, so they've got to defend both of their low health towers in top and mid. Meanwhile, the fight here potentially, Maokai uses flash. And then they've also got to get the next objective.
They
Nard finds a
do
very
have
nice
some
ultimate
scrubs,
here.
though.
Nascos is at half health, but Nard doesn't really have tools after ultimating, so he just gets to recall.
But you do
And
gotta
it's
keep
really
in
gonna be with
mind,
this dragon.
OSG has 6 scrubs, so they take towers very, very fast. And now that Renekton has to back, he should TP back to save his tower. But if he doesn't, this could be first tower for OSG. Looks
Yeah,
like we
Nard
are
with
gonna
6
see a
scrubs does
TP
take it
though.
pretty quickly. No, don't think this turns into anything bot lane yet. But I'm wondering if they're just gonna all in for this Herald to make sure they get the objective.
They should, yeah. Looks like
And it looks
Hunter's
like
just...
questioning
Fifi's on the
is
wrong
there.
side of the map. It looks like Fifi may have not been looking about like the timers and like maybe not looking at the feats, but this looks like the objective feats are gonna go over to OSG, and then it's just gonna come down to who gets first tower.
Yeah, I wonder if they're just saying, we're gonna worry about our dragons, because giving up this Rift Herald may look a little odd, but if we can get 3 dragons, I don't even care if we get feats. Already got 3 dragons with a Jinx. I'll take that every time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Natsuko's face checking here is a little greedy though. Flashes in, Mordekaiser ult finds somebody. So there's no smite available right now, but they're just going for the fight. Orianna does get it. Orianna ult will make sure Syndra goes down. Questioning here is running for his life, but he can't run out of the Cataclysm. So he will be 3v1'd. And they get the feats, they get the kills, and they get the Rift Herald. I didn't think that fight was worth it because they were so late, but they just make it work.
Why did they ult? I don't think that... Did he think that he could smite Rift in ults? Because objectives don't spawn in the Shadow Realm, and like, I just don't understand if you're taking Rift, why are you risking not getting Rift? Or maybe he thought he got it? But yeah, that was a
He might
really
have
big
thought-
misplay.
I mean, I didn't see the smite cooldown. Maybe his smite was on cooldown, because I guess it takes a long time to take a Rift. That seems really unlikely, but just a little bit worried about... Jarvan does have a bit more burst than most champions. I think Mordekaiser could do pretty well with isolated Q smite, but I guess you wouldn't isolate Q, so... But this is your 3rd dragon for DP, and it just feels like they're just going to be in a very strong position to win this game.
Yeah, I mean, you got 2, again, the gold lead is slowly creeping away now between, it was pretty even now, I mean, before, now it's a 2k difference, and you have the gold where you want it, you got it on your Jinx and your Renekton, those are going to be, your 2 damage dealers. I would like to see some kills on, Grayson, but based on, this matchup and just how it's been going, it's just, there's not really been a time that where, he has been able to get those kills.
I mean, I'm not even worried about the gold right now.
No.
I'm more thinking that at any
right.
point, Fifi could go into a dragon pit and just win the game by stealing dragon, even if his team is behind. Jarvan has so much ability to get into a pit, to steal an objective, and that's if other side gaming can get to a point where they're controlling the pit.
Yeah, I do think, OSG, they aren't completely out of this. It is really unfortunate, but, they do have the 6 grubs. I do prefer Drakes over grubs, though, I will say, but,
Especially at 3. 3 dragons where it's oh, okay, I'll take the dragon side for sure.
I mean, Syndra's stacking, we're at 76 stacks. I don't know how average that is compared, for stacks for her. Is it 10 stacks a minute? Is that how it is?
I don't know. Syndra,
You don't know?
there's too many stacking champions. So for Syndra, it's kind of weird because they focused it on hitting abilities, so it's really lane dependent, right? If you're against a melee champion, you're going to stack it very quickly. If you're against a ranged champion like Orianna, I think it's a little more difficult. And then you kind of get consistent ones from leveling up and getting cannons. So I think, I don't know. Moonman's doing fine on stacks, but I haven't really kept up with Syndra on where exactly you want to be on stacks. Just I'm not sure if it really matters because 125 stacks isn't where you're, it's not 225 stacks for Smolder. You're just I'm pretty powerful, but you're not, God or anything.
100 stacks is where Syndra becomes online. You get the execute from your ult, and then 120 is where you get the bonus AP. So she's getting there. They're at 84 right now, so I guess maybe another 5-10 minutes we should be at 100 stacks.
From what I remember playing Syndra, I think that's actually pretty good, especially into a range matchup. But either way, the other members of her team are not so lucky. I feel like Gnar is, good, but he's not where he wants to be against Renekton to be really putting the pressure down. And Kaisa is just looking at Jinx almost finishing an Infinity Edge and saying, I wish that was me.
Yeah.
I mean, not
They're
Infinity yet for
different rounds,
Kaisa, but you know. Oh, actually, this gank is pretty good because
Uh-oh.
Questionator should be able to ult him away from the tower. I don't think he wants to though, because Nazgûs is just too low. They still have some damage available too with the Syndra, so they just give that kill over to Narn. Maybe he's a little bit closer to where he wants to be than I thought.
Looks
This
like
is
they're
Renek's to Otacon as well.
here. It is the Voracious Otacon. Last night's stream we had 5 ruinous Otacons, so it's nice to see Voracious is back. But I don't think starting it right now is any good. There's not really any objectives up soon. I think if I were dropping point, I would look to take Otacon. Like if they want to secure the Drake, I look to take Otacon within like this next maybe like minute or 30 seconds, which it looks like they aren't going to, because I think having the GA for objectives is really nice because you can force objectives and have the team that doesn't have the GA they either have to give it or they have to like do something else across the map.
No, what I really liked about that was they kind of grouped near Otacon. Kaisa was literally bot lane, so they couldn't really do it, but they did force all of dropping point to go check, because like technically they could. You know, if you're just like, oh, Kaisa's bot lane, they're not doing it, they will do it. So suddenly all of dropping point have to go topside after they lose a play instead of going cross map, and it kind of makes them scramble while Cheese gets off a nice wave crash and a reset. So they didn't get Otacon because they probably couldn't, but they still forced the objective to be pressure to move DP around the chessboard. But at the end of the day, the biggest pressure that's going to move people around the chessboard is this soul spawning in 40 seconds.
Yeah, I think this is going to be our first team fight of the night because OSG definitely doesn't want to give up soul, including 22 minutes in the game. So either we're going to see a pick or a full-blown team fight. We have both TPs up from Mundo Man and Nazgûs, so we should be seeing TPs from them, unless Ghost is just going to walk on down.
Wait, this is kind of an interesting spot, though, because I feel like Jarvan can usually face check things because he can EQ out. Sorry. But if he does that into Mordekaiser, you can't really EQ out of the death realm as we saw earlier, so it's a little bit harder for him to face check. He can just E to face check, but then his engage tool's gone. Questioning Arrow just kind of walking in, though. He can pick up a Rel just as well as anyone, so she has to walk away. And now they've got position on this dragon despite, you know, being down on gold and dragons.
I do definitely think that they should start soon. We got an early TP from Mundo Man. I think this is fine because you don't want to be coming late to the fight, including when you have like that 6.
Orion is caught too. Grayson is ulted into the death realm right now, but she flashes over the wall. But what are you gonna do after you're out of the death realm? Maokai ult's coming in. Here comes Renekton as well. I think Questioning Arrow's just dead. Dorsky also just dead. Sure, you'll give up Heartstuck, brother. I know that you said that was an important part of the team, but the rest of Other Side Gaming is gone, so it doesn't matter if you don't have Jinx. They also pick up the Cloud Soul. Nazgûs is able to flash in, gets down Kaisa. Mundo Man is low health from the play earlier. Will die surely to an E. And it's just Soul and so many kills for dropping point.
Yeah, this game is just kind of seems to be accelerating from dropping point. Looks like, yeah, they just got Soul there. They got, what was that, 2 kills for 4? They got 2 deaths for 4 kills. Really well played by them. And my question is now is like, is dropping point like a sleeper team? Like, have people just been like underestimating this team, or is OSG a fraud and like they're not as good as second seed? Because like based on like I think everyone thinks that like because dropping point doesn't make playoffs, they think that they're a bad team, and maybe they're playing worse because they underestimated them, or like I don't know. It's just I think OSGs were the definitely like the people going into this where everyone thought that they were gonna win this easy 2-0.
It could definitely be a mix of things, right? Like maybe there were some bad weeks for dropping point. Maybe Questioning Error was like, I want to try Mordekaiser jungle and see how it works against a real team on a real game. Meanwhile, Fifi just has to EQ out, so he'll be fine. I don't think Kaisa's gonna ult in after that. That'd be a little absurd. So, you know, we can try it, and then if it doesn't work, we'll just go 2-0 them in the game 2 and 3. Meanwhile, Grayson has ultimate, uses it. I think Mundo Man has just jumped too far forward. Bot lane, I don't know if Nari is able to kill Renekton here. But Baron has spawned, and Otacon is still up there, so there's just so much pressure on the top side. Getting a pick like that can be really big for dropping point, especially with Cloud Soul.
No, yeah, definitely. I also want to notice, Grayson has Archangels into Death Cap. That's why you saw that massive damage spike there.
Oh,
mid
this is a
lane.
huge fight over here. It's a number disadvantage. I'm just not sure if it matters. Jinx is pretty strong once the death run goes out, but she dies inside of it, so it might not matter. Jarvan, though, will even up the kills 1 for 1. That's the jungler down as well. Hardstay brother, it's so funny. He started out 2-0 in lane. Last 2 team fights, his team has kind of just let him die. I mean, I think he kind of caught there, but still. It doesn't matter. They're still going to pick up the objectives afterwards because the rest of his team is so far ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Also, while that fight was going on, Ghost got a shutdown on Hunter in the bot lane. Ghost might actually drop here. Syndra doesn't have her ult yet, so Ghost is gonna live to see another day. But I also want to mention, Fifi went the more like damage side build on Jarvan, and I don't know if like that's really the play. I mean, it might be like based on how this game is going, it probably is the right itemization that you go. But if this game happens to go to late, they're not going to be really squishy compared for this Syndra, this Mord. Like, they're going to have so much damage that I don't think Fifi's going to last very long in these team fights. So they need to end this game very soon. I think in the next 10 minutes, they need to end this game.
I was just thinking, though, what makes it easier for a melee champion to deal with in our side lane? It's just Cloud Soul, right? Like, he's just trying to poke you out, being like, nah, 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 nah. And you just run up to him and kill him. Shut the hell up, Yordle. But,
Shugu death.
Right, exactly. Now, this Cloud Soul means that you can just play so many games, not only in side lanes, but also for objectives, for both,
Elder's gonna be up soon.
Right, exactly. There's gonna be Elder up along with, Baron and Otacon, and that just makes the math so much harder for rotating.
Yeah. I haven't seen an early, like, I guess an early-ish game Elder in a long time, because normally, like, you get these Elders around, like, around the 40-minute mark.
Questioning Air is in an interesting spot. Finds Orianna. I believe this is going to turn into a real fight. Teleport's coming out, and I don't think they commit. No, the Death Realm is committed, but he can't commit any further because of what happens afterwards. So Questioning Air is just going to die, and that's right next to the Baron as well. Meanwhile, Hunter found by Jinx. And again, Cloud Soul just makes it so easy to catch that guy. Now the question is, which objective do they want first? Because they're getting them both. Looks like Otacon.
I think I would go for Baron first, not Otacon.
No, it's Baron, it's Baron.
It definitely should be Baron first. I think OSG here just need to go for the mid tower. Like, but they're going for the Raptors instead.
Otacon wants to play too. That patience part. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Otacon is so funny. But you know what? They're going to next lane. I'm like, please don't forget about me. Don't worry, buddy. We're here for you.
Yeah, Otacon's radius is so large, but I'm surprised OSG took so long to take this tier 2. They're finally taking it now, thank God. It's gonna be a little bit annoyed if they didn't at least take that, because you know that they're going for this. And I also want to mention, they have Otacon up for Elder. So
yeah, that's disgusting. It's going to be very difficult to fight this now.
Yeah, they have Baron, they have Otacon, and now OSG, I think they're in a position where they need to somehow catch, like, one of their carries on the side. Because I think it has to be Jarvan, because, I mean, you're gonna have to get rid of some of these, GAs, because you can't just give Elder, because they already have Baron, they will end the game. Like, they might have 0 grubs, but there's no way that you can just give this objective. I think they just have to try.
Now, because the respawn takes so long, you know, usually it's like, oh, they only get 200 gold, you can take whatever objective you want. If Other Side Gaming find a fight, they get the GAs off, which they might
like
hear. DP is going off pretty hard. Mordekaiser can ult him though, but it's not up. So he will go down. And I think that just changes exactly what I was saying, because now they can go for Elder whenever they want. There's no jungler available.
Yeah.
And then they can end the game whenever they want, basically.
I think they just have, they just get Elder here, and then I guarantee they can probably just either 4-1 or literally send all 5 mid and just end the game. Because with this Elder, I don't see how, with the amount of damage that they've already been pumping.
And again, you can go for this because you've got GA. Cheese is running for his life. Maokai trying to help heal. Exhaust trying to help heal. The damage just isn't there though.
Wow.
Cheese will go down in a 1v2, 1v3 almost. Ghost will withdraw. And the Oriole also find Syndra, so that's another one down. Jinx and Jarvan are just pushing bot lane during all of this, by the way. And I think, I mean, technically with death timers being the way they are, they might not end the game. Jinx pushes pretty fast, but the base is going to be completely destructed even if the Nexus isn't technically gone.
Also, one
Mordekaiser
on-
can't even walk outside of his tower radius in the Death Realm.
Yeah, it seems like these ults are kind of like zoning ults, surprisingly.
Okay, almost.
Oh my
I thought it would have
goodness,
been
this
so
Jinx
funny, but
damage.
questioning error caught by the slow, so that will be an execute using the excited to jump forward, make these people flash onto their own fountain, still hitting them during it. And this is still a G8 up Jinx, by the way. That's inhibitor down, and Dropping Point are absolutely here to try to make this upset happen as they win game 1 with style, giving up no dragons and only 3 towers.
Yeah, this honestly,
maybe the
like,
Nexus won't explode? I mean, Gnarl was just used, unfortunately,
It
in the
should.
wrong
Oh,
place. There's still Jinx
Grayson!
going off with Elder triple kill for Grayson. And yeah, the Nexus will explode.
that was a game, that's for sure. I want to say it was close, but it really wasn't. Like, it just started off like kind of like a slow incline for DPH, and the moment like they started getting those kills on their carries, they just completely exploded. And the moment that they got that soul, it was really hard for OSG to come back in, and they just played so well. And honestly, like, either like I think people have just been sleeping on this team. Like, who cares that they didn't make playoffs? It doesn't mean that they're a bad team, right? And either OSG thought that, like, yeah, again, like what I was saying earlier, is they either thought like they could just fool around because they think like DPH, I guess, is like a lower bracket team. No, you're in the same seed. It's still a game. They're still a really good team, and it just maybe you don't know what happened in the series, right? In the other games, the games could have been close. You really don't know. So I think DPH really came out swinging for this game 1, and like, I love it. I love it. That's all I gotta say.
I will just say for Other Side Gaming, maybe Mordekaiser isn't a flex pick for playoffs, you know?
No, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I see where the idea was. I think some of those ideas could be recycled, maybe refined a little bit and make it work. But maybe not this series at least, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
And that does mean that draft kind of has to change a little bit because Mordekaiser was very nice in kind of securing yourself a counter pick. OSG, I believe, have chosen red side considering where they've lined up. We'll get confirmation on that pretty quickly. But they still have to find an answer to this B1 Jinx because it looked phenomenal. They do have to answer for how they're going to make their jungle pressure materialize. Whether it be committing to the farming style or committing to early ganks, not doing both. And also what they're going to do about top lane.
But also, like, I just want to talk about the early game, even for OSG's jungle. Like, even though they were playing the Mordekaiser, even whatever champ that they were playing, just like, how greedy that they were with, like, their timers. They full cleared, they got the top scuttle, they took their top side again, we're like, that's fine. But then they just kept going. They ganked top, unfortunate gank. It came out with Renekton getting the first blood. And then what did he do? He took, I don't even remember what he did.
I can tell you what he did.
Okay,
I can tell you what he did. He started Raptors to his top one, Krugs, all the way to his bot camp, saw that Drafor was going for bot crab, went top crab, then went to his Raptors, Krugs again, then went for top gank, then that failed, so he went for grubs, then he went for top gank again and died.
That's what it was. It was
no, sorry. He went grubs and then top crab again, and then went for the top gank where he died.
Yeah, it was just...
I remember it very specifically because like I followed a similar path before in jungle where like you're like, okay, maybe this was a little greedy, but just a little bit more. And then you're like, okay, maybe that was a little bit greedy, but maybe just a little bit more. It's just so free.
You found the limit.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Mordekaiser's already like a fairly weak champ in the jungle, like early, and you gotta know your limit. You are like 7 minutes in the game and you have yet to back. You're sitting on like 1,800 gold. You like, yes, you have a lot of gold, but you have yet to spend it compared to everyone else in the game. So I definitely think like at most after grubs, you back. You don't gank the second time. I think that's where his limit was. And
they don't expect it. I did call it out. Nascos literally was going in because like I think he knew Mordekaiser was there and was just like, nah, this guy's not actually ganking me again with no items. And you know, he showed up. The questioning error showed up, and it just didn't work out for him.
Yeah.
So we will see what
Looks like
bans
draft is
happen.
live. I actually still
I
need
think
to open
dropping point really don't gain information on new bans. You know, you could argue maybe the Kaiso is kind of nice, but like, it's not
I don't
necessarily
think it
that
was an
draft was
issue.
right. I don't think the draft was
Mm-hmm.
necessarily bad from other side, but you know, with how the play lined up with the draft, I just don't think you're going to show new bans except for maybe arguably the Syndra or the Maokai. And they're just switching or keeping it with the same 3 bands so far.
Yeah, I just wonder if like OSG is gonna change anything. Like, I don't think anything. Like, obviously there were like champions that stuck out, but was it because of the champ or was it because OSG like misplayed early? Is like I guess what I'm getting at, or like
I
was it
don't
because of
mind
their comp?
I don't mind making dropping point pick a newbie one. Just banning Jinx not necessarily because it was overpowered or anything. In fact, I felt like Heartstruck Brother wasn't able to do much in team fights because the rest of his team was
Did
dominating
you
so
see that
hard.
last fight though? That last fight he was pumping out that damage.
Yeah, so
Oh,
you
they
know,
banned the
making them
Jinx.
making them have a newbie one is not bad. You know, the Jinx we couldn't quite find the counter to it. It didn't necessarily pop off, but maybe we can make them show a new weakness.
Yeah.
And
So
we'll
the
see what
Lulu
dropping point
is
come up with.
left up this time for the bans. I doubt they're gonna first pick a Lulu, but we're probably gonna see either maybe even J4 first pick. He might be, you know, it's like Fifi did really well in that J4 last game, so I'm like, hey, just pick it for me again. But it could just be another ADC. Yep, we're gonna see
Caitlyn is an
Caitlyn.
interesting one. Where Jinx
I wouldn't
before,
blind that.
Where Jinx before, I feel like, yes, she kind of slots into a very specific role in team fights. She kind of has an open-ended way of playing lane, kind of, or at least she can play with multiple supports. Caitlyn kind of locks you into one type of lane, poke lane, aggressive early lane. We will play through this lane. And that definitely leaves you vulnerable to counterpick. So we'll see if OSG has that within their pockets.
Yeah, the only thing with Caitlyn is she's a very early Yasuo. Interesting. That's a lot to say, but with the Caitlyn, again, very early game champ. If you don't get Caitlyn ahead, she's gonna fall behind compared to other ADCs in the late game. But unless if there's no way that's like Yasuo bot lane, right?
I
Surely
mean,
not.
I wouldn't blind pick Yasuo mid, and the only reason why I would ever lock in Yasuo in response to Caitlyn is because it's Yasuo bot lane, even though I think that's a horrible idea, but like, I could see the line
And
where
then they
you're like,
pick
well,
Sejuani, so
I mean, two melee champions is pretty nice. You know, getting that Sejuani passive off.
why do I feel like
I
this
could
is
see a world.
Yasuo Sedge bot lane?
I'm telling you, like, the only reason I would see Yasuo Sejuani picked after Caitlyn B1 is if it goes bot lane, I feel like, because you're not like, oh, in mid lane, Yasuo will be able to win while later in the game. Like, no one cares about win walling Caitlyn off.
Or like this
At the
just
same
makes me
time,
this just makes me think that like they're doing this for content and like although it is fun to cast, but like also like I would hate to be like on the other team where like they're just like picking for fun stuff, you know?
I mean,
So
it could
unless if
be.
they're not that doing that, you know?
Well, I mean, Caitlyn was a popular pick for a long time. It could be that at this level, they found like, hey, you know, Caitlyn's at a high level, sure, they know how to play against melee champions. Caitlyn's at a low level, they probably haven't. So maybe this is like their special counter pick that works right here. And it's not content necessarily. It's just, you know, this is the time to bring it up. Now, that being said, it would be a weird time to bring up your niche counter pick on stream before playoffs against a team that you don't have to beat to secure your spot, but maybe if you want to practice it, I don't know. I'm trying to come up with any reason why they could have done this.
Well,
if it is bot lane, but it could be mid lane.
Let's see. Let's wait for the draft to finish because who knows? It could be. You know, it's definitely not
Okay,
Yasuo mid
well,
now. That's definitely a Malzahar mid. Or I guess now a Silas mid. Never mind. Correct me. But now it looks like honestly, I feel like I have a strong feeling that this is gonna be Sejuani support. I don't know. I just feel it. You know, like you know when you have that feeling. That's what I feel right now. Like
okay. Here's the
Dorsey's gonna
5-head
whip it
play.
out.
All right.
What?
Yasuo Sejuani works only against lower level Caitlyn's. If there's a Caitlyn in playoffs, you want to scare them off of picking Caitlyn because we're not sure we could do it. By whenever they pick Caitlyn against us in a game, it doesn't matter. We crush it against a team that's lower ranked than us. And then in playoffs, they're like, oh, we'll pick Caitlyn here. They're like, oh no, they'll pick Yasuo Sejuani. I don't know. That's the thing I can come up with because it's weird to have this counter pick and then show it on this week. But you know, at the end of the day, maybe they just want to see if it works.
Yeah, it looks like OG's gonna change up second rotation bans. We got Renekton and Rel. I think those are two fine bans. You saw like what they could do last game, and I think it's just like a fine response and if you want to like change things up a bit.
Now, here's the real question: are we gonna get 5 melee Sejuani? Because I don't think I've ever seen that before. It would be kind of obscene to do that into Caitlyn Lysandra. I feel like those champions do very well
I
into
think that
melee
might be
champions.
Lysandra mid. I honestly, I think DPH might think this is Yasuo mid, because
No, I just mean
Lysandra is a
like
good counter.
right. I just mean that Lysandra is going to be good into melee, 5 melee or a bunch of melees
Oh
regardless
yeah,
outside of
yeah.
laning phase.
Oh yeah,
Um,
no, definitely.
I feel like OSG does have to pick up some kind of range champion somewhere. I'm just not sure where.
Gnar? Semi? That
Not
is
in
for
jungle. Because that's a Kane locked in.
So
And I
this
guess it might
Caitlyn
be Nard.
blind. So if you were in this game and you didn't see the draft on whose side was what, you would think this would be a Caitlyn like counter like pick, not a blind, because Caitlyn, like the largest range champ in the game. Yes, they have low mobility, but that is into 4 melee matchups. Like if I'm Caitlyn, like I'm pretty happy right now.
Yeah, I think you were worried about an all-in lane where like you didn't get to just auto attack them a bunch of times. Leona's kind of interesting splitting the middle. I think you could have definitely just gone with a range character and just like absolutely tried to eviscerate
Yeah.
whatever they were trying to do. But at the same time, maybe you're like, you know what, let's just buy into the idea that they can counter us and get some tankiness just so that way we can make
Yeah.
sure we can survive it.
I wonder what this
Now,
last pick's gonna be.
is it
It's
gonna
gonna be
be a
another
melee
melee?
champion?
It's gonna be the melee team. Honestly, I like it. You know, even if it is yeah. See, I'm gonna like I'm kind of laughing at it now, but watch, they're gonna get in game and like completely stop, and I'll be like, well, you like corrected me wrong, I guess. So I feel like that's just what might happen.
I think my draft law broke. I'm not sure if streams did. Okay, so they did pick a melee champion. It's Camille. So
There's also a lot
we
of
will
AD.
update you. We will update you with where these champions go. But wow, OSG lost last game and said, you know what, we'll do something
I
even
told you,
crazier.
it's Sejuani support. It's gonna be Camille top, Kane jungle, Silas mid, and then Yas Sejuani bot lane.
It definitely
telling
feels that
you.
way. There could be some weird switch ups, but yeah, I don't imagine anything's gonna be different than what you said, because just from you can't really send anything else in the carry role. Kane kind of has to go jungle, and then Camille's not support most likely with Yasuo. Although I wouldn't have called Sejuani Yasuo into Caitlyn either. So,
What
but still,
sorry, what I just want to add in, that's gonna be like a fun interaction that I hope I see this game is. We have a Silas into a Mordekaiser, so Silas can eat that ult, and then we might get a really fun 2v2 matchup. I hope that I'll
yeah, we get an
see.
arena game
Yeah,
on your
exactly.
stream.
But Silas has some really good ults. Even seeing like all these ults are fairly good, including when you're picking Mordekaiser and Leona into a Silas. Like if I was OSG, I'd be fairly happy. But like again, it's just they're all melee. That yes, they have the dive, but like I'm just really excited to see how this game plays out because I honestly don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think Dropping Point could have stuck to their guns a little bit and picked something other than Leona. I mean, I haven't personally played against the 5 melee champ comp, so maybe I'm not like actually sure what's good into that, but still, my instinct is just go, I don't know. I mean, top lane could have picked a Lowy. I mean, oh my goodness, there's so many ways you could just completely bust this open.
Really good, yeah.
I feel like Leona wasn't necessarily the way to do that, but at the end of the day, you're against 5 melees. It's a little bit of like, do you know how to beat this comp rather than, you know, can you beat it in draft? It's like, you've got to know how to play against double melee as Caitlyn.
Yeah, just based on draft, who do you think's gonna win this game?
I think that OSG has gotten into DP's head, and what's gonna happen is Dropping Point spot lane is going to die level 2. And if they don't, they win the game, but if they do, they lose the game, and it's really going to come down to bot lane. And that's my prediction, and I'm sending it.
I really, really, really like the memes. I don't even know, again, they could not be memeing, but just based on the draft and the info that I have, this looks like a, hey, we're being casted, let's draft 5 melees with a Sejuani Yasuo bot lane. I think that's going to be fun for content. I agree, I think this is going to be a really fun cast. and I want to vote for this team to win. Also, we'll get a game 3 out of it, but also, like, again, DPH, they aren't fooling around, and I honestly think their comp is, I guess, better because they obviously have the range, including Lysandra is gonna have a field day. Like, one execute on OSG, Lysandra is gonna have that passive, and that's gonna do a bunch of damage into 5 melees because they're gonna be all stacked on top of each other. So I think this game's gonna go to DPH. I think it's gonna be a 2-0, but like again, either way, I'm happy with casting this game just because of what OSG has drafted for us.
Yeah, so 20 passive is going to stack so quickly, by the way. Either way, the roles are as Star lined it up for you previously. It is Yasuo Sejuani bot lane, and we're going to have to see how that bot lane goes after a quick delay. We'll see you. All right, welcome back to game 2 of Dropping Point versus 5 Swords. Because you've got 5 melees, 4 other side gaming. And yeah, they're doing a level 1. You knew it was happening. Hopefully Dropping Point knew this was happening, because I feel like everyone knew this was happening. You've got all these melee champions who are going to do a level 1. I feel like Heartstuck Brothers should just put a ward and get out of there. But he is staying firm in this
Playing with
tri-bush.
fire. He's playing with fire right now. Also,
I
I wouldn't
mean-
say 5 swords. It's a sword, a scythe,
Oh, okay,
some
my bad.
chains, some bladed legs, and then bristle.
Bro, for sure. Well, there's gonna be some, I don't know, just like, yeah. Well, the level 1 was sit in their own tri-bush. I don't know if anyone's ever invading 5 melee though, so I guess it was like, what they're gonna do is they're gonna think we're gonna stack, so they're gonna stack, and then whenever they're stacked, we're gonna be patient, and then they're gonna get impatient. Whenever they're impatient, they'll face check us. But that didn't happen. Dropping Point just was like, nah, we're just gonna do the thing.
It's like it's a constant cycle of like I think that they're gonna do this, but they're thinking that I'm gonna think that. So it's definitely
All right, that's your health advantage for the lane, and now you don't get to ever hit him again. So good luck. You got a few hits on Sapphire Gem. Caitlyn will be an extra hit on Sapphire Gem. Caitlyn will be autoing you for the rest of the laning phase.
I feel like for this laning phase that you're supposed to start E on Yasuo, so you have that movement, so you can trade. But like, I mean, Cheese is hitting those Qs, so maybe it's fine.
You can kind of pretend to be an 80 carry just with an even slower auto attack than Jordan, you know?
You know, I think level 2 we might see some action in the bot lane once Cheese and Dorsky hit this level 2. But again, like the biggest range champion in the game, ADC in the lane, so it's gonna be really hard to get on that Caitlyn, including with barrier and flash still up.
Yeah, now it's interesting because of the change to cannon on 4th wave. The stacking waves is a little bit different. So it looks like Leo's going in right now. Sapphire getting stunned up, and that means they can kind of jump on Caitlyn, but guess what's half health? Exhaust comes out, stun comes out. Yasuo has to walk away. Barrier for Flash. Flash as well. Flash though. Leona gets first blood. Dorsky has to walk away so slowly, gets stunned up, has to flash as well. And it only gets harder from here because Caitlyn will now have traps.
I feel like they should just went on the Leona there. Like, Leona went in. She's already on you. You spent 5 seconds trying to chase the Caitlyn. Well, I will say you got rid of her flash, but you used all your sums and you didn't get a kill out of it. Like, at that point, Leona isn't as tanky, and you know she started EQ, because that's the combo that she used. She doesn't have the W.
Dorsky, this freeze is crazy. Dorsky,
yeah.
Dorsky?
Fast back.
I mean, unironically, not the worst. I don't think Caitlyn was in experience range, and you did get a nice, like, minion stall for Yasuo this gank. So, I mean, it's Camille, though. Nice buffer on the E. Hunter will be fine.
You know, you could say that death was calculated, you know?
I mean, unironically, it was pretty good. But this gank here, Lissandra should be okay. That's just the ability of Lissandra to get out of ganks. And that means Kane's tempo early, unfortunately, not able to find much, but neither was Fifi's. As both junglers are now out, and they continue to be out any longer, we're going to have to get out the clip of game 1. Meanwhile, Mundo Man getting flashed on by Viego, but gets this W in for the heal, so just going to be 2v2 to try to get that wave in, basically, in the mid lane.
Yeah, which they should. Questioning Error is just helping on Mundo Man get these last few waves. Sorry, Master Minions, not waves. He should just take those 2, and then it should be a bit frozen there, and then he should be able to back safely.
Right, but I mean, this lane down here, 2 long swords for Caitlyn versus 1 dagger for Yasuo. He can now auto-tag faster whenever he gets no auto-attacks. Meanwhile, Hunter having to eat out. Mordekaiser getting at all ahead in this lane whenever he gets to play in the 5 melee. Sounds very scary. So I'm wondering if Hunter has any plans to deal with this now, although Camille can definitely pull out some neat tricks. But this wave looks very good for Nass.
I just want to watch the spot lane. Like, I wish I could just, like, have my camera perma down here and just keep watching this matchup. But, like, there's 3 other players in the game that definitely have factors, so definitely gotta watch those. Cloud Drake is currently up. We got Grubs up in 45 seconds. We have Fifi currently backing when we see questioning area running down bot, so either we're gonna get a gank bot lane into Drake, or they're just gonna take Drake because they have the prio right now.
Dagger is such a funny buy for Cheese. I know it's probably the literal only item you could buy. I mean, I think I almost go health pots over it. Like, what is Dagger doing for you right now? Nice attack
definitely
speed.
buying refillables this lane. I'm surprised that he didn't.
No,
Like,
it's just so funny because attack speed is so useless here.
It definitely is. I mean, it could just be an item closer to boots because I think in this lane too, you definitely want the boots just for the movement speed. So maybe that's why he didn't have enough to buy just the 300 gold for the boots. So he just got that instead. But I think you need refillables this lane for sure.
Well, it does mean whenever Kane possibly comes for this gank, I think he's going for Dragon right now. That you will be able to stack Sejuani passive very quickly.
After last game, they're like, yeah, we need to get some of these Drakes. So
right, Dragon's a pretty good actually. It turns out. So we'll be that trade Dragon for Grubs. Top lane, Mordekaiser's got an ult, so has Hunter. There's a Viego up here technically, but he wants to do Grubs. Hunter wants to go in right now though. He has no E ability for a little bit and is half health.
questioning areas might be looking for the gank down here. That they do see him on vision.
Right, there's still a flash, or no flash available for Yasuo. Stun comes out onto Leona. Exhaust Caitlyn. Sapphire is still in a lot of trouble here, but Questioning Arrow's just in half health and takes a tower shot. Trap also will make sure that he goes down. And unfortunately, they tried to go on Leona this time, but she wasn't as far committed, and they just lose the jungler for it.
Yeah, just giving another kill to Caitlyn as well. Like, that's just not what you want to do. If I'm DPH, again, I'm very happy right now, you know? They're just kind of just walking, like, kills at you because, again, like, that's what they have to do. They have to walk at you to kill you, but you're also a Caitlyn that has just so much range that you can just auto the attack them from, like, a mile away.
Hearthstone Brother is a little low here. I know he has barrier. Does the enemy team know, though? It doesn't look like he needs it. Barrier for barrier. Cheese is still going to try to find this. Stun comes out, though. Q comes out. That will be a shutdown. But it is 2 kills for Caitlyn, or 2 assists, actually.
It's a feats, too, so I'm taking it.
I mean, Yasuo will take any gold he can get right now. Sure, you lost both of your laners, but he got a kill, and it was a shutdown. Also, Leona wasn't able to crash the wave. It's not that bad. And it's kind of interesting the Hearthstone Brother was baiting with barrier so hard there. Whenever I feel like the best outcome he could get there is a 2-for-1, which I'm not even sure is good for him.
I mean, it definitely could be worse. They got the feats out of it too, so like it wasn't like the end of the world. You know, you're still ahead. Though Cheese does have those boots now. Looks like I was right with Mundo Man in the mid.
Right, but there's going to be another Lissandra ult right afterwards if oh no wait, it's actually down. I didn't see whenever Lissandra ulted before. But that means ults are down for both of them. Mundo has some ability to come down here eventually too. And if Dorsky ever gets a flash Q, or a Q flash onto Caitlyn, that will be immediately into a Yasuo ult.
Caitlyn, yeah.
But Heartstark Brother has flash, so as long as he's aware of it, he should be okay. But anytime Sejuani Q's like even within a mile of him, he might, you know, just flash out of worry of the flash coming in soon afterwards. I mean, it's not even scared. You can't really react to the Sejuani Q flash. If she Qs, she could flash. And then it's kind of like a bluffing game at that point.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think also right now they're just waiting for Sejuani to hit level 6. So she has to be close. Like, let's see the XP. Yeah, she's probably like this wave. But like, they're getting mega zoned from Sapphire here. He's doing a really good job. Just zoning them off that wave. They're 2 melees. What are they going to do? Poker? No, they can't. So they're just going to like, keep denying as much XP as they can.
Yeah, she's definitely done a very good job on this Leona, making it a case for why she picked that instead of a mage. Top lane, they've traded ultimates, or sorry, Mordekaiser has ulted. Camille hasn't ulted, but I don't think she's going to. And it's just going to be that isolated 1v1 for a little bit, but Nasus has still gotten the better end of this. I mean, up CS. Meanwhile, mid lane, Lissandra ult will come out, and that will be a dead silence. Meanwhile, bot lane, Crane is here, flashes in, can't find the Caitlyn though, and that means Caitlyn can just auto attack. Sejuani ult isn't being followed up by anyone. Dorsky's here, she can't be stunned though because the Sejuani ult already came out. Teleport also coming in. Ultimate from Caitlyn Thompson as well. Hunter's going to find Nas, but Nas finds Hunter and kills him. I believe that that Lissandra has come here There weren't any kills down here yet. At the same time, though, they now have to teleport the Silas. Questioning error, trying to go over the wall. Sapphire might be a bit deep. No mana. She will go down. Lissandra coming in. Wait, she saves Sapphire! Sapphire going down eventually the cheese. That's a double kill for Lissandra, though. Silas used ultimate. Fifi hasn't gotten any bodies yet somehow in all of that. And I believe it was a 2 for 2.
Oh
if I'm
my
keeping track
goodness.
correctly.
Uh,
No, it was a 2 for 1, sorry.
It was a 2 for 1. Yasuo only got 1 kill there. But, like, oh my god, what a bloodbath this game is.
I think
man.
up here, Hunter also was able to find the teleporter back in, getting Nas to die to this Q button that's happening. No, the E button that's happening. And that means Hunter will get the counter kill. It was kind of 1 for 1 at the end of the day, just very staggered in the top lane.
Definitely Nas definitely overstayed. He had to check out earlier, checked out a little too late, and Hunter definitely took advantage of that. But it looks like DPH in a really good spot right now. It looks like Questionnaire is just gonna take those 3 other grubs, make sure that they don't get 6. But then Fifi's like, I'm completely fine with that. I want my other Drake, so he's just gonna get his first Drake of the match, and looks like they're just gonna keep stacking Drakes. And again, like, you're already ahead. Yeah, you're also ahead. You want to get, like, these Drakes stacked now, because
Denying Ocean Dragon.
Sorry?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go,
I was just gonna say, Denying Ocean Dragon is so good as well whenever you're
Yeah.
the only ranged champions on the map. Making sure that Caitlyn poke actually hurts, too.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that OSG, again, really bad spot right now. They're already at 3k gold diff. Almost, actually, like 4k almost now, but 12 minutes in the game, not where you want to be, and the way that they do probably get back in this game is if they get soul, so definitely getting these Drakes early definitely prevents them from getting soul anytime soon.
And very quietly, Creation has just gotten a huge gold lead. One of it was from a kill mid, some of it was from the bot lane. Meanwhile, Nas Ghost doesn't have ultimate soon, but it's not up yet, I think. Does finally find it as he finds his death. Now, Yasuo and Sejuani have Hound plates here with the 3 grubs that they got earlier, which is very important for them because I believe it equalizes the goal between Yasuo and Caitlyn. That being said, Caitlyn is still hitting those item power spikes, having a collector and attack speed, which just makes Yasuo hurt a lot more.
I'm just trying to think, like, how OSG, like, plays these fights in the later match. Because I'm assuming Kane's going red, right? Because it'll definitely help with the Yasuo. Uh-oh, Fifi! Run, Fifi, run!
I think he's
you can't
gonna
back
be
there.
gone. It's just a question of who they want to give it to. Surely it's Hunter.
Yep.
And that will be a nice little kill for him.
I will say, though, if Hunter gets ahead, strong Camille is not what you want to deal with, considering Camille can easily get on the Caitlyn and then knock everyone away, making it pretty much like a 1v1. So definitely that is a little bit scary if Hunter keeps getting these kills.
A 1v1 that is 1E away from a 2v1 is Yasuo also ult in as well. So, Leona coming in quickly though. Dorsky finding the Caitlyn, tacking up that passive, goes for ult instead. Cheese is trying to find an ultimate, gets stunned instead, and the trap into stunned again. The exhaust though, that finds a double ultimate. That will be a kill with questioning error coming down here. He will get that kill as well on Leona. Lissandra's here, it's a little late, but she is 3-0. She might be able to find something. Doesn't want to go for it though. And that's going to be a really nice double kill pickup for the side of Other Side Gaming.
Definitely these picks are the ones that you want to be looking, because again, Caitlyn, you don't want to get too far ahead. She definitely was early, but I think in terms of gold now, let me just do a quick check. Yeah, Cheese is actually now up 300 gold, I guess 200 gold up on Hardstuck Brother. So, even though he's down 10 CS, he's still up that gold, and I think just being behind, considering how bad they were early game, I think they're slowly bringing this game back. It's only a 1k gold difference now. Or
right,
I guess
but a 2k gold difference whenever you got this 3-0 Lissandra to 5 melees, I mean, you kind of make that like a 5k gold difference for sure at this point.
They're slowly bringing it back, or you gotta give them some props.
For sure. Now, the other thing is that it is Infernal Soul. So these Infernal Dragons are going to be hugely important for both teams. There's not exactly much in the way of tinkiness for either of these teams. So the more Infernal Souls that go over, the more value they get. And that's really going to mean this 2v2 will impact a lot, whether they be in the bot lane still or if they move over to the mid lane. It's going to be around that dragon.
Yeah, I just want to see the OSG start bringing these team fights out because I think that's when their comp is really best. I think either way, like getting picks, actually, I could see both ways. They can get picks really easily considering with like Sedge ult, they got Camille, Silas. I guess Silas went the more sustainable build with going Conqueror over Electrocute, but we also see Fifi right now along with Sapphire Gem just hiding in the banana bush. I guess we now see Grayson here. Looks like they might be waiting for someone to rotate nearby now that Rift is up, or they might just start it right away that they know that they're a little bit stronger, but
yeah,
they also gotta be careful. Their damage dealer is bot lane, and I don't think, I guess Viego does do a little bit of damage, but like he's not really someone that like pumps out a lot of damage early, including into all these damage dealers.
The damage dealer is also very vulnerable. You know, you used to be able to TP to these dives at around 14 minutes in with the improved TP. Now you just can't, so that means they get first tower for this. I believe they will get feet still,
they
because
get
this is the third objective. Yeah. But still, giving up your tower as Caitlyn first feels real bad, just in a ego kind of way.
Yeah, definitely. At least they still got the first gold bonus down on the bot lane. It looks like Hunter, though, not in a great spot right now.
Yeah, his tower's gone and then he's gone, I believe is how this is gonna go. He's at least trying to get it gone by teleporting out.
He
didn't
even need
succeed in that. They were just ignoring him. You can go.
Yeah.
But they did get his tower, and they're going to go for more with the Rift Herald as well. Meanwhile, mid lane Creation, he is 3-0 though, but gets Lissandra ulted by a different Lissandra. It's Mundo stealing Lissandra ult. Top lane as well, Hunter gets a kill onto Mordekaiser, gets the ult onto Sapphire. Fifi just has to ult out, and it's kind of all falling apart for Dropping Point.
Yeah, I think this, oh my goodness, yeah, so this gold lead is now back to even. You're saying, like, how Lissandra's ahead, but not anymore. Mundo Man and Questionnaire with the great gank, getting that shutdown onto Mundo Man, bringing him back into this game. DP definitely overstayed top lane. They thought that they could take 2 towers with that. No, they could not. They definitely responded very fast. Again, it's only 17 minutes in the game. These respawn timers are very short, so I guess they thought that they could get away with that, but they gotta remember, they didn't kill Hunter, so he could easily just walk back up there, and they only have 3 grubs. They don't really have the damage to take those towers, including without having Caitlyn there.
I do appreciate the irony of you being Lissandra and like, oh, I'm safe. I have a glacial prison. I'll never die. And then you get caught in glacial prison, and then you die because it's not yours. It doesn't heal you, and you can still be targeted. It's just an interesting interaction between Silas and Lissandra.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun interaction for sure. I should be expecting her to go Zhonya's, though, probably this game. I'm assuming third item will probably see that whipped out on her, because 5 melee matchups, you're not very mobile. You do have your E, but you also got to recast that. With a lot of CC on OSG's side, I wouldn't really fully rely on that E.
Okay, looking for something potentially here. You know, I do really like Malignance, though, because Lissandra ults in the middle of 5 melee champions with Malignance. Oh my goodness, the fields are going to be burning.
Yeah, that's also just a pretty standard item now for Lissandra. I think that's... It's what I always go when I play Lissandra. I know some people go for, like, the Black Fire Torch if you just want more burn into tanks, but, like, they're not really super tanky. I guess they got Sejuani, but Sejuani is on a support, so you're not really going to be getting those, like, that tankiness you normally would get from jungling, and, Kayn, like, Kayn's in, like, a weird spot, because, like,
Fifi finds Mundo Man. Mundo Man does have ultimate available. It would just have to be a Viego ult, because he can't grab Lissandra ult. I believe he has to get out, gets stunned though. Lissandra coming in as well. Viego ult goes for it. Now, they don't get the pressure onto Mundo Man himself, but they do draw people up here because that tower is quite low. But they're just going to go for camps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think reading for that is a little bit troll, because you know that if Mundo Man is staying, he probably has a friend around, which he did, which with Dorsky. So, I think that was just play, just taking the camps, making sure questioning her.
There's a lot of people grouping down here. Nascos does have the opportunity to trap 1 person, but it's only going to be for a little bit. Does go for Camille. Actually stalls it out with the ultimate, I believe. Are they in the death realm? I think. Yeah, he stalled it out. That was such a good Camille ultimate. That means Nasco is caught in this 1v4 that he really didn't want to be. And that was such a perfect ultimate by Hunter.
They do. I agree. That was a beautiful ultimate. But they gotta remember that like, they got 4 people of DPH mid. Silas can't hold that by themselves, and they're just gonna dive this Silas. And what are they gonna do about it?
Alright, Glacial Prison used on himself for now, and now it's gone. So you've got the stun, the exhaust, but they don't really care. You can take it to Star forever. It's just Silas. He's not gonna kill them, and they're going to trade this inhibitor for Ruinous Otacon.
Yeah, it's definitely. I don't know if this is a good trade for OSG. I think DPH did a really good job trading this mid lane, and if I were them, like, I think this is better because, like, this was Ruinous Otacon, so they got the Blood Petals, which is really nice with the XP, like, the bonus monster damage, but, like, there's not really, like, I just don't think it's as good. Now you got, like, a torn down mid lane, and, like, that's probably the worst lane to have it, you know?
Oh, Fifi says, I don't want to
Fifi's
get out of this bush. I'm gonna recall.
Yeah. When like, uh-oh, I guess if Hunter, that's why you always gotta check the bushes that you go next to, you know? That was
Absolutely.
But we have
So-
Drake up in a minute. I think OSG definitely want this. This will be soul point for sorry, they'll be getting soul point from it, not soul yet, but
This fight's kind of
And it
interesting
goes.
because Kane is in the area, and this is the second time Nascos has just been caught in the bot lane against multiple people. This time he has a friend, though, and Mundo Man is not able to E out to the minions. He will get killed, and that means now you have a Silas of your own. There's so many stealing champions in this game, and there's a lot of people around that Kane.
yeah, that is a shutdown to Crayson. Definitely not the person you want it on, because I think Crayson on Lissandra, I think just that champ itself into 5 melees is just gonna hurt so much. I'm waiting for those team fights because you were talking about it. This Malignance is gonna do so much damage, and now it looks like she probably has a Shadow Flame waiting in base for her, which she does. So the next back, she's probably gonna pick that up, and she's just gonna do so much damage, including like just with her passive coming up.
Now, it was kind of funny because both teams committed 4 people bot lane to get a kill. Just one of the enemy
Yeah.
teams got an inhibitor, the other one got an hour tower. And to be fair, that's because supers were also available. And Caitlyn was also holding up someone top lane, but it's just kind of funny the clear disparity in sieging power.
Yep, DPH gonna take their second Drake for the game, making the Drakes even from 2 to 2. I would like to see them send like people top and then bot because they always have mid lane pushing now with this inhib. And honestly, it's not like terrible because DPH can't really do much. Actually, I might be I'll hold off on my thought because I believe I might see a fight break out here in the bot lane.
Yeah, that's Kane and Camille. These champions can always
Ooh.
leave, but Sapphire does find an E and makes the Camille flash. I was kind of surprised about that. It feels like
I'll
Camille
take
can't
that.
always get out of everything, but yeah, you
Yeah.
just get a flash out of Camille, which is such an important tool to get on top of Heartstuck Brother. Meanwhile, they might be doing that now. Kane's thinking about it. Sejuani has ultimate available. There's no Viego here as well. It looks like the start is going to be onto Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser could ult someone, does do so. Now Dorsky is the one in trouble. Lissandra ult also finding Kane before he can get on Heartstuck Brother. Heartstuck Brother in the middle of a bunch of melee champions. Kane is inside of him. Mordekaiser goes down to 4. They do pick up the Kane on the other side, but now Caitlyn is just completely CC'd and killed. Yasuo can go free. And I believe that Viego resets are not going to be enough as Yasuo... well, Yasuo did die, but Silas will pick up everything.
Yeah, definitely a good fight, I think, in terms of OSG side, because they're still back in this game, and what I was trying to mention earlier was, even though Dropping Point did take this mid inhib, they took it fairly early, so they don't really have the damage or, like, the siege power right now just to, like, take anything else other than that inhib, and it's benefiting, OSG a little bit, because now you have those cannon mains to farm. They give so much gold, and now, like, even though you're a little bit behind, now you have one of your carries farming these cannon minions. Like, it's honestly pretty good for OSG.
Right, and they've got the Otacon as well, which only just gave them a little bit of boost of experience, but you can see by just comparing horizontally the levels. There's a 1 level gap for basically every single role, or 2 levels in some cases. There are no lanes that are even.
Yeah. Yeah, just looking at the gold difference in each lane, Caitlyn, this is the thing I was talking about. Caitlyn started the game, what, 2-0? Now
Mhm.
she's 2-3. This is not what you want for your Caitlyn. I said you have to get your Caitlyn ahead, and I guess they did. They got she started the game 2-0, but now she's fallen off, and that's not what I was talking about getting her ahead. You want to get her ahead and make sure she stays ahead.
Oh,
Although
Fifi is caught by Sejuani right now. Viego has a lot of tools to get out, though. So it looks like this will be stopped pretty short. Leona, though, Zephyr's like, wait a second. You can't leave that easily. We're still kind of interested. But it looks like it's just going to be a vision battle for a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
They
Just
might
get
go in on Leona
expansion
here.
forwards.
I don't think so, actually.
I
Never
don't think
mind.
they
That'd be a
should.
little absurd, but I don't know. The pink ward, whenever I'm playing support and I'm going into the pivot that deep, it's a little scary.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna look for a pick here. It looks like they could
Mordekaiser's
get
the
one
flank.
on. Oh,
Ghost
think
has
they
got
just
a
go on
flank. He got
Ghost.
knocked up, though, and now suddenly he's just a frontliner like anyone else. That knockup basically prevented the play.
I do want to see a 5v5 happen here, because I guess we haven't had one completely. There was one that broke out bot lane, but I think it was like kind of delayed with some people coming in a little bit late. I want to see what happens when everyone's here at the start of the fight, but it looks like...
It does feel very hard to dive Caitlyn while
Yeah.
dealing with this Diego looking for resets.
Yeah, definitely.
And last time Fifi was really late. He came in at the very end, picked up like a Yasuo, and then Silas was able to do everything. Looks like we're gonna have a small disconnect issue, so we have a bit of time to think about the game.
26 minutes in. We are back to even on gold when... What team was it that was 3k ahead? It was Dropping Point, right? Yeah, it was Dropping Point. They were 3k ahead fairly early. OSG has brought that lead back. Just looking at objectives overall, like the only big difference is that Dropping Point has opened up OSG's mid lane. Definitely later in the game, that's definitely going to be how they end. If one ace, that could be honestly game now that we're kind of like in the mid game. These timers, like everyone on actually OSG is like pretty much level 15. So like those are some pretty beefy timers. Was that 40, 50 seconds now at this point? 30, 40?
Yeah, but
I'm not
at
sure,
the end of the
but-
day, if you're worried about the level advantage, you can kind of just give up the next dragon and make it over soul point. And I just feel like the contradictions of the comp where you're playing 5 melee will come to bite you if the game keeps on going.
Or instead of just giving Drake, oh, here's the little spectator bug that we have after pauses, but instead of just giving Drake, why not trade it with Baron? Like, you can easily pressure that. Like, you don't have to just give Drake and be like, oh, whoop-de-doo, can't do anything else. You have mid lane open, you can keep hunting constant pressure top, because even when you did drop the rift top lane, you didn't get the tower, but it's still really low. It's not going to regen. You have Grayson pushing that out with TP, so it looks like Grayson is just going to backfill, but like, you could either fight for this Drake if both teams feel confident, or you can just pressure the Baron, which is on the other side of the map, which is, I think, just as good, because it's not soul. You don't really have to get this Drake. It's definitely nice, but like it's not do or die right now.
What I really want DP to see, I think... Oh, Nascos has to flash away from a Camille. Cannot flash away from the Sejuani ult, though. We'll have to ultimate onto Questioning Air. Probably wins this 1v1 for now, but once he's out, he's in a 1v4. Actually gets over the wall because Kane can do that. The rest of DP has arrived, though, so it's still just a 5v5. And it looks like some of the commitment of flashes and ults are used, but we're still going to have a pretty normal team fight for this dragon. Fifi's on the weird side of this pit, by the way. I don't know.
We are starting Mord's ult.
Fifi.
Wait, why don't they go on Fifi? Wait, why aren't they?
Okay, they don't know where he
They're
is,
just
and he
letting
just
him
out. They couldn't find him. Now Sejuani starts the fight. This is not what you want to see whenever Caitlyn can just right-click for free. Caitlyn is just auto-attacking people for free. Yasuo cannot even get on to the knockup. Viego is also getting resets, and these low-health champions are exactly what Caitlyn wants to see! And that's a triple kill for Caitlyn, the basically one-range champion in the game! Questioning Air, though.
Ooh, that was close.
I mean, this is Kane. He can do some crazy stuff into an 80 carry, and the 80 carry starting dragon. This is not possible! You're into a jungler with smite, you're into Kane! You can't be in a pit auto-attacking dragon, you will die! And it looks he might still die. Maybe it was a bait all along. He'll want to go around to make sure that he can get away from the side where you could see him. I'll be there first. I guess it was a good idea from Heartstack Brother, but can't quite close in on it. And we're just going to see a reset for the retake on Dragon.
That was definitely a fight for sure. That's what I was really excited to see, like a whole 5v5 fight. And it's like, despite having DPH Nascos having no flash and no ult during the start of the fight, and they still came out on top. This is exactly what I was talking about. Like, yes, you had the 5 melees, but you're into a Lysandra and a Caitlyn and a Leona that can just peel. And then you have that Viego that can just steal those melee champs. So it's just like, it's a really good fight for DPH. And again, like, I don't see, if they don't get on this Caitlyn, I don't see how OSG is going to be winning this game.
I want to know who it was. I think it was Sapphire. I want to know who it was that stunned Yasuo right as Caitlyn got knocked up, because whoever it was saved the freaking game.
Yeah.
Because if Yasuo gets that ult off, it's just completely different. Now, they are going to still start this dragon. Lysandra is toppling with Teleport. Teleport might be too slow, though. You don't want to start this fight walking into the 5 melees. Heartstuck Brother, though, is getting dove on. There's no one to follow up yet, but Leona ult from Silas means that will be a shutdown, and this is so much harder without the Caitlyn. Lysandra ult's pretty good, though, taking on everybody. Fifi is trying to get the resets. Yasuo is getting a lot of ultimates. Mordekaiser's full health somehow. And this is also the fight that Mordekaiser wants into 5 melees. He even gets the dragon. He can't quite make it work here, or can he? 5 melees is just so easy for Mordekaiser. He still gets picked off here. It is a 4 for 3, but the dragon goes over to a dropping point.
It's like I ask for a fight and I say what's gotta happen, and it's like they hear me. I literally say you have to go for Heartstuck Brother. That's exactly what they did, and that's, I think, the only reason why they came out on top. It was definitely sloppy at best. I am just looking at these items. No one on OSG still has Grievous. You're gonna want this Grievous into this team. Like, you're into a Mordekaiser that's gonna constantly heal, and you're also 5 melee. Like, there's no way, like, you're not letting this Mord not heal ever, so, like, you need to at least do something about that. Also,
kind of-
DPH, I guess DPH has double Thorn Mail, so they do have the heal cut for their team with Silas and Kane and just everyone.
Well, I don't know if anyone's really auto-attacking Leona, and Mordekaiser sometimes, so it's kind of hard, especially someone like Silas. His auto-attacks, I believe, count as range, so I guess he always auto-attacks Mordekaiser, funnily enough. Because, like, oh, I think Dorsky might be looking for an ult, doesn't quite find it yet. But Leona's still going in. Sapphire gets an E on Yasuo. I'm just not sure if that's what she wants, because she's half health now. Caitlyn is not the target right now, but she can't get auto attacks on anyone. DP Fifi is down. Heartstuck Brother is just looking on her and tries to ultimate in her face, and somehow it works. Sapphire Gem going in, sacrificing her life to make sure Caitlyn can get the auto attacks off. Kane is going to find these two, though, rooted by a trap. Into rooted by S2W, and they somehow get that fight 5 for 3. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but I guess
I could explain what happened. It looked like OSG was winning at first because they are getting those kills, but they're not getting kills on the important person. They left Grayson and Heartstuck Brother up, so Heartstuck is literally just pumping out those auto attacks with Collector, i.e. has so much damage is pumping out because no one can reach him at the moment. And then Grayson is getting that burst damage with Electrocute. And with those passives, like, their whole team was just blowing up again with the 5 melees. So, like OSG can kill as many people as they want, but if Caitlyn and Lysandra are still alive, they just don't come out on top ever. So
wait, Star, are you saying that there could be inherent weaknesses to drafting 5 melee champions?
I guess I am. Wow.
Wow. Wait a second. This is interesting. We should document this. Maybe people should know about this. I do appreciate, by the way. I mean, looking at these team fights, it did feel like before, like, oh, you could have drafted higher range as dropping point and make sure that you have a really good comp into 5 melee. But, you know, I mean, Mordekaiser and Lysandra are looking really good in the melee champions.
Again, if I went up to an average League of Legends player, I listed 5 team, like, this team and this team, didn't say what, sorry, excuse me. If I didn't say what team was on red, what team was on blue, and I had them guess, they would probably think the 5 melees were on blue side, and I'd be like, nope, actually Caitlyn was blinded B1 into the 5 melees. So, like, this is, like, almost like if I would first pick Caitlyn in solo queue and I saw this, I would be so happy, but, like, this is comp. You see Caitlyn, and you go, yeah, I'm gonna pick Yasuo Sejuani bot lane into that, and go see it. Again, like they could just be doing it for content,
think
but at the
Window
same
Man-
time, like
That's going to be fine. Never mind.
I
Oh,
don't think
Sejuani
that
will
they
find
should.
CP Fifi though as a recall comes out. Nice ultimate and flash out. The stealth also helps. Turret will deter them from going in after him, and he will be okay. That's a lot of sums used. Meanwhile, Nascos finds Mundo Man, or Mundo Man finds Nascos. Stealing Mordekaiser ult's a little confusing here. But it looks like after the Mordekaiser ult, there will be a bunch of people surrounding Nascos, and he will turn into a real ghost. He does make a Mundo Man, though, and that'll be a 1-for-1 there. Caitlyn is lurking with that sniper rifle, but it looks like the teams are going to dissipate.
I will say in terms of trades, I think this goes a little bit better for OSG because I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Silas has been doing super much in these fights unless like other than like being a CC bot with like being able to steal like Leona ult, Lissandra ult. Other than that, I feel like having more dead right now is not too great for dropping point because I think at the end of this game, I guess we're gonna see, but I guarantee you the top two damage you're gonna see is you're gonna see Hardstuck, Crayson in second, and then Nasco's probably in third. Even honestly, Nasco's could be even tied for first just because the amount, like with his passive.
Okay, but this is Soul Fight starting. Nascos doesn't teleport until he's up in 10 seconds. It's just dead though. And they have Soul. So even though this is a 5v4 for a temporary amount of time, Window Man teleports. It's actually 4v4 Silas teleporting now. They're running into the Caitlyn on the wrong side of the map. Caitlyn is jumped on by Camille, but she flashes out before the ult comes out. So now Caitlyn is just free hitting with Infernal Soul. The support is on top of her. The support is not going to be enough. Meanwhile, Fifi is getting resets with that Infernal Soul. Zanyas will not save Silas. And Caitlyn is somehow able to 1v1 the support. And Dropping Point pick up the ace, only losing their support. With the soul and the inhibitor down, you have to imagine that they're just going to walk it down and end this series 2-0.
I think that this is going to be a game. I agree. It's 1 kill for 5. Like, I keep saying this, I'm going to see it again. I don't know if, like OSG just, like, are just having fun, like, because they're being streamed and, like, playoffs already secured along with seeding, that they just decided to draft 5 comps, but, like, I think Dropping Point's, like, an amazing team. Like, obviously, like, if you just look at like standings alone, people think like this is like not a great team, but like based on how they've played in these first 2 games, it's like this is an amazing team. The way that they play so well together, their team fighting is amazing. I want to give a big shout out to Hardstuck Brother. Like into 5 melee matchups, it definitely is like it definitely can be a little bit stressful. I do agree because all those 5 people are definitely gunning for you, right? And
Yeah,
like in
for sure.
each of those fights, it's not really getting caught. I think I only got caught in one of those fights out of like the 6, and just being able to kite really really well and making sure like you're spacing really well because there's a lot of people that even on Caitlyn, like I see it like even like in Emerald Elo, Diamond Elo, where there are Caitlyn players that play Caitlyn, but then don't play her at her max range, which is like the most important thing I think for Caitlyn. So, like either way, again, looking at the damage charts, I definitely was right. Heartstuck Brother with 39,000 damage, followed by 38,000 from Nascos. And then just right after that, we see Crayson with the 30,000 damage. What are your thoughts on these 2 games right now?
I mean, I also found it interesting that the most gold in the game was held by Yasuo of the losing team. So
I mean, there was a lot of
funny.
shutdowns he got. He has 12 kills, so I guess it makes sense. You know, his team was behind earlier. You know, there was a bunch of shutdowns that I think he got in the early game that definitely made him. Also, can we see CSing? How much CS did he have? He had 283, so he was up by 40 CS by the next highest CS. So that definitely comes into play as well.
Well, I think for these games, the Dropping Point can definitely, leave with their heads held high. Like, yes, they are out for the season, but if they want to continue on for next season, they definitely have the ability to work together and make things, interesting. Obviously, the second game, maybe you could say that OSG might not have been playing at their most ability, or drafting at least at their most ability to win. But I feel like the first draft was at least genuine.
Yeah.
And they definitely showed a lot of ability to play well, even in unique circumstances. Yes, 5 melee is a little troll, but at the end of the day, it does take a well-coordinated team to know exactly what to do into something like that, because it's only bad if you know what to do into it. And they were able to find the answers both in draft and in gameplay, and I think that was very strong of them.
What I will mention, DPH can correct me if I'm wrong. It was either this team or another team. I might be getting them confused with another team in Sentinel, but I know a team had a big roster change in like the last week or two. It could have been them, and if this is the new like dropping point team that they have going forward, and I would really like to see them come back next split. I hopefully that they do, because with this team here, I think that you could easily make playoffs and maybe be like even in like the finalists.
Yeah. As for OSG, you know, we're gonna see them again, and
We'll
maybe we'll
definitely
see
see
an
them again,
other
yeah.
side. Maybe we'll see an other side of other side. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But you know, it is important for them to not show strategies whenever they don't have to. This game technically doesn't matter for standings. It really is just for practice.
Yeah.
And, you know, for showing their opponents what they could see. And what they probably won't see, which is Mordekaiser jungle or fight melee. You never know. Maybe
Or
we
backing
could
on
workshop
time,
those.
you know?
We can workshop those, and maybe you will see some of those. But
Yeah.
either way, I expect other side to show up to playoffs with, you know, a bit more competitive of a draft, let's say.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Again, I think like either like again, there's two ways like OSG was coming into this. They're like, oh, we're still gonna like even though seeding's not gonna change if we lose or win, blah blah blah. They either came into this being like, we're still gonna play this as we would any other game, is what I personally like to do is like based on standings, I think you just come in, play your best, and like just take it as practice no matter what, because even if it's a good team, bad team, it's good practice, right? So or they came into this being like, you know what? Seedings don't matter. We're being streamed. Let's give them 5 melee champs and give them a fun cast. So it could have
I
gone
will
both
say
ways.
one cool thing for that is that, like, if you've got a player on your team that's never been streamed before and like, oh my gosh, all my friends are gonna see this, you're like,
Yeah.
hey, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna draft 5 melee. They're gonna make fun of you, and then for the future, it can only go up from here. Like, you know, you just put a little clown on stream. In the future, you'll look so cool whenever your team comes in and wins a series, like in a serious way. So, like, I don't think it's like technically the worst strategy wise either. It's just really funny to see for sure.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. If you set the bar low, it can only go from up from there.
right, exactly.
I don't think any of the other matches from Sentinel are done yet, other than the FF, obviously, that contingents still not here. Oh, it looks like we might be getting a screenshot right now of some of the other games right now, so please just stand by. Just right now, we have
Yeah.
contingents FF to what's the new team called? Because I'm not so can't say the old team because there's a team that got renamed, rebranded. Bunny Brawler Paras got the FF win to contingent. Looks like right now we have Plasma Wolves 2-0'd against OSGA. We have Hydro Pump Black Tip 2-0'd Veracity. And then it looks like actually Plasma Wolves got the free win. Looks like OSG actually FF the match. So that is definitely interesting to see. I was really hoping that they would like I know they're also out of bracket. I'm not sure if you knew that, Scarlett, but the other gosh, I can't speak today. OSG team, the other one in our sector 1, unfortunately didn't make playoffs, so it looks like they just FF the match. Maybe just didn't want to play week 8, but it looks like Plasma Wolves will get the free win. And then yeah, that's just what we have right now in terms of the other matches.
And then it depends on how the rest of the matches go. I don't believe we can get tiebreakers. Is that right?
No, there's no tiebreakers.
So next week will be playoff play-ins.
Yep.
Which means it'll be a best of 3. I don't think those are locked in 100%. But either way, whenever you show up next week for Tuesday, it will be play-ins. And so thank you all for joining us for our final week of Sentinel. And we're excited to bring you play-ins and playoffs starting next week.
Just break my